I'm Martin Sibley. I'm known as a disabled influencer, and it all started really to share my story of living life with a disability, but also to inspire particularly younger disabled people as to what's possible and how to go about achieving their dreams. I've always been curious and adventurous. Used to love travel shows and Michael Palin and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, when I got a bit older and decided that I'd got the means and the confidence and the skills to travel, and there's a lot that goes into travelling with a disability like mine, but it just became a bit of a bug.
But now Martin says he's being forced to rethink his future after a string of air travel nightmares.
For as long as I've flown, there's always been difficulties at some point in the process. There was a time we went to Egypt, and when they were lifting me from my chair to the aisle chair, my foot got caught and basically bent back my ankle and pulled all my tendons. So I was sat on the beach in Egypt for a week with a really swollen foot and a lot of discomfort.
An investigation by which has found people with restricted mobility are still facing far too many barriers. A survey of passengers who use special assistance at the UK's 5 biggest airports reveals the service at Heathrow is rated worst overall. It's
so ironic. Someone that's written a book, has travelled to well over 20 countries, has been a big, ambassador for travel, is now saying actually they're not sure they want to fly anymore.
Heathrow says it's taking feedback on board with upgraded facilities and a new team dedicated to accessibility. To find out more, I'm meeting one of the people helping to improve services by using them himself.
I run a team of duty staff who work shifts in our APOC, our Airport Operations Centre, and they work 24 hours a day to make sure that aircraft arrive and depart as close as possible to the schedule. As an employee of Heathrow, somebody that works here and also being a wheelchair user and somebody actually who travels through Heathrow quite a lot, it allows me to pick up on things that maybe I think that we can improve, and then I can take those ideas to colleagues and start working on those improvements for our disabled passengers.
Accessibility at UK airports is improving, according to official figures. But disabled passengers have told us airports and airlines still have a long way to go to meet their needs, with almost half of those with restricted mobility saying they feel unable to fly. It's a statistic that comes as no surprise to Martin. I'm showing him our footage of Heathrow for his take on how airport assistance works in practice.
When you're ready to board the flight, you just come straight to the gate, and instead of waiting in the seating area with the other passengers, you just approach the gate staff and ask them to pre-board. And it just means you're ready to board the aircraft as soon as they are.
The difficulty I've got with that advice is that very often the couple of people that are going to lift me aren't at the plane before they start boarding the other passengers. So everyone, including me, would rather I get on first because it's more dignified. But I find more often than not, I'm being lifted in front of a plane full of people because of that hold-up from the team.
Another feature that we have at all of our terminals is what's known as a changing places toilet. This symbol that you see here indicates that it's a special facility that we provide, particularly for passengers that have severe mobility restrictions.
Very, very pleased to see they've got changing places. It's a really big deal breaker for a lot of people, as you mentioned, to be able to use the facilities while at the airport. There was one time, it was in another country, I was coming home, but I really needed to use the toilet, and I had to have 2 members of my family lift me, and I had to lay on the floor with all of the dirt and muck to get changed to get back up again afterwards. So having a hoist and a changing bed is really, really important.
So what's the solution to the problems passengers with restricted mobility are facing?
There are laws that say disabled people should be included, but there is this business case. If we've got 1.3 billion people with a disability in the world, that equates to $8 trillion of spending power. In 2020, I believe it's the right thing that everybody can be included in transport.
While there's no doubt there's a will to make travel accessible for all, for too many disabled passengers, getting through the airport remains an uphill struggle.